My holistic soul sisters, it's me, Mandy Rose, your relational astrologer. In today's video, we are talking all about the full moon lunar total eclipse in the zodiac sign of Taurus. There is so much to discuss with this full moon. Not only is it an eclipse, but there's some very potent alignments happening in the sky around the time of this eclipse, which just maximizes the volatility of this energy. It is closely related to Uranus, the planet of sudden jolting change. We are in eclipse season. We had an eclipse 2 weeks ago in the zodiac sign of Scorpio. Now we are wrapping up this eclipse cycle with a full moon in Taurus. So this is the last go round of this Scorpio Taurus full cycle, and then we're going to be changing signs in the new year. So there is something major here we're meant to let go of, right? Full moons are letting go. We are wrapping up this eclipse cycle that's been lasting us about 18 months, and now we are going to be moving forward. So in today's video, we're going to be breaking down what eclipse energy is and what we need to know about it. We're going to talk about what happens every year when we have a full moon in Taurus, the energy that we're going to be feeling and things that we should be releasing and letting go of at this time. Then I'm going to dive into the specifics of this full moon in Taurus happening now here in 2022. And like I do at the end of all of my videos that are full and new moon videos, I give you ritual ideas that you can do around the time of the full moon to maximize this energy. So lots to talk about. I'm going to keep it simple. So let's start out with the basics. The basics of this full moon total lunar eclipse in the zodiac sign of Taurus is that it's happening on November 8th. 2022 at 11:01 a.m. And that is Eastern Standard Time, so you're going to want to go ahead and adjust that for your specific time zone. Now, the eclipse itself that's going to be visible for most of us here in the Northern Hemisphere is going to actually be happening earlier in the day. But we're going to get to that in just a moment. But know that the full moon, meaning the moon is at its fullest, is not going to happen until 11:01 a.m. Now, it's happening at 16 degrees of Taurus. So I'm going to pull up the chart here really quick. You know, when we have a full moon, the sun is opposite the moon. So let's go ahead and locate that here on the chart. The sun is at 16 degrees of Scorpio. We know that because it's Scorpio season. We're right in the middle of Scorpio season. And the moon is directly opposite in the zodiac sign of Taurus, also at 16 degrees, making it a full moon. And you can see the moon here has a partner at the time of this eclipse, and that is Uranus. Uranus is the planet of sudden jolting change, of rebellion, revolution, moving us towards the future. And with his involvement at the time of this full moon, it's not only a full moon, remember, it's also an eclipse, a very volatile and potent, destined time. So you can see there's a lot of energies here at play as we discuss in this video. So you're gonna wanna go ahead and look in your birth chart at the zodiac sign of Taurus and Scorpio. So look in Scorpio around 16 degrees where the sun is. Do you have any planets there? And then go ahead and look in your birth chart at Taurus where the moon is around 16 degrees. Do you have any planets within a couple degrees of 16 Scorpio or 16 Taurus? If you do, this eclipse is going to affect you more than anyone else. Also, if you are a fixed rising sign, meaning you are a rising Leo, a rising Taurus, a rising Scorpio, or a rising Aquarius, this full moon lunar eclipse will also be impacting you more than anyone else. And that's because this eclipse is happening in one of your major houses. So that means the eclipse will be happening either in your first house of your physical body, yourself, your me, your seventh house of your relationships, your fourth house of home and family, or your 10th house of career. These are our major staple homes. They represent everything that makes us who we are, where we live, what we do for a job, who we're in a relationship with, and who you are personally. If you are a rising sign other than Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, this full moon lunar eclipse is still impacting you. It's just not as strongly. So instead of happening in one of your major houses, it's going to be happening, say, in an area of your life to do with your thoughts or your friendship circles or your spiritual beliefs or something behind the scenes. So this will impact you no matter what. It just depends where it is within your birth chart. So with that, I want to let you guys know I am opening up my calendar officially for birth chart readings. I took 6 weeks off of readings to complete the 2023 Retrograde Astrology Journal, which will be available for pre-sale starting next week. So you can find the link to purchase your copy before the holidays in the description box below. But as far as birth chart readings, they will be available starting on the 15th of November. So if you are looking for help understanding your chart, understanding how these eclipses are playing out in your life, or you're wanting to do a 2023 astro forecast reading, I have availability starting on the 15th. So again, you can find the link to my calendar in the description box below to book your spot. Now with that, we have to first break down this term that I keep using, the full moon total lunar eclipse in the zodiac sign of Taurus that is also a blood moon. So let's go ahead and break down each one of those terms one by one. Starting with a full moon. Full moons are periods of letting go because it's when the moon is at its fullest in the sky. It cannot get any brighter. It represents the peak or the apex point in the lunar cycle. The lunar cycle begins at a new moon. That means the moon in the sky is at its darkest and it can only grow in light. So it starts off with a new moon, then it grows in light until it reaches the full moon, which we're experiencing on the 8th of November, where it can only at that point shed light and get smaller and smaller. So we are reaching the apex point. This is the point of culmination. So 6 months ago, we had a new moon in Taurus that was an eclipse. And so for 6 months, we've been riding this wave of something new that happened to us way back in April. Now, whatever new thing happened in the spring for you, maybe you got a new job, you met a new person, you had new thoughts or new belief systems, new things that you were learning, something new started in April at that eclipse cycle. Now it's played out for 6 months and we are reaching the full moon in Taurus here and now on November 8th. So whatever in your life has reached a culmination, a peak, this is the point where we now start to let go and shed light. So full moons are periods of letting go. They are culminations, they are endings, they are releasing, they are letting go. Then this is a total eclipse. Total eclipses occur when you see in the sky the eclipse, the moon being eclipsed and blocked out in its totality, meaning it's not just a sliver or a part, it's a total eclipse. Now, fun fact, we are not going to experience a total eclipse again until 2025 here in the Northern Hemisphere. So this total eclipse on an astronomy level is very, very important. So you're gonna wanna try to go outside and witness this eclipse. So let me break down the times you're gonna wanna do that. So on the morning of Tuesday, November 8th, starting at 4:10 a.m., you can go outside and start to see the beginning of this total eclipse. Now, the eclipse is going to be exact around 5:16 a.m., and then it's going to last for 90 minutes, where it's going to fade out and end at 7:49 a.m. So go outside and witness this beautiful astronomical event that's not going to be visible to us until 2025. So that's actually really cool, and also shows us how important this eclipse is to us, not only spiritually and astrologically speaking, but also as like a collective and a society, and being able to witness this beautiful phenomena happening here on Mother Earth. Now, talking about eclipse energy, we just talked about the scientific aspect, the things that we can visibly see what happens during eclipses, but there's a very spiritual energy to eclipses as well, and that's what we talk about in astrology. Eclipses are periods where the sun or the moon is being eclipsed, it's being blacked out. It's a moment of pause and reset. And in astrology, we can see here from the chart, it's represented by two symbols, one being the upright horseshoe, which is the north node of destiny. North node being your North Star, the direction you're going, the way that you're changing into, and then across the chart, directly across it, like when we have a full moon, we have a sun and moon opposition. We also always have a north node, south node opposition in the sky. So directly opposite the north node, we can see in the chart, is the south node, the upside down horseshoe. Now the south node is where we've been and where we're leaving, where we're letting go, where we're releasing. So we are walking away from the south node in Scorpio and moving towards the north node in Taurus. That is our current eclipse cycle. Now, what is the spiritual or energetic significance of this? Well, when we see an eclipse out in the sky, it's this moment of confusion. It's a little chaotic. And in our ancestry, way back in prehistoric days, imagine going outside and you see the sun, you see the moon, and all of a sudden it disappears, right? People used to think it was like the end of the world. So it brought a lot of fear or panic. And with that, we still resonate a little bit with that in our soul, in our DNA. But it essentially means, because it deals with the north node of destiny and the south node of karma, it's very fated. It's very much meant to be. And I always talk about eclipse season. So we started eclipse season with a new moon in Scorpio 2 weeks ago, and we're wrapping it up with this full moon in Taurus here and now. It's about 4 weeks in its totality, because about a 1 week before the first one and 1 week after the last one, so 4 weeks, we experience a period in our lives where there's sudden, unexpected changes, where things are happening externally to us to get us back on track. So anytime it's eclipse season, I want you to pay attention to what's happening in your external environment, because it's not chance, it's not luck, it's not coincidence. They are destined things that are meant to get you back on track. Now, it might be uncomfortable as you're releasing and letting go in one area and having to step into some new, unfamiliar territory, but that's what we're meant to be doing right now. So don't get frustrated. And if something started in your life, like I mentioned 6 months ago, and it's starting to reach the peak, or it's cycling back around, or it's coming up again, pay attention, because it's an area of your life you're meant to release and let go and step into now. More specifically, that is going to be in your birth chart, but we're going to talk collectively what that means as we're currently going through the Taurus and Scorpio eclipse cycle. So we're going to talk more about what that means as it's currently in the eclipse cycle of Taurus and Scorpio in just a minute, but I wanted to finish what I was saying about the full moon, total lunar eclipse in the zodiac sign of Taurus as a blood moon. So let's talk real quick about what is a blood moon. So a blood moon is just an astronomical phenomena where the moon appears very, very red in the sky. And that's just due to the fact that the sun's rays directly across our Earth through our atmosphere are projected and reflected on the moon dust in this beautiful red hue. So that is what a blood moon means, astronomically speaking. Now, spiritually speaking, it's a whole different phenomena. I made a TikTok video about blood moons and how they're referenced in the Bible, that blood moons symbolize the beginning of the end of something, which I think is very appropriate as we talk about this specific full moon in Taurus as a lunar eclipse. So just kind of know that blood moons are just meaning that the moon is showing up red and beautiful in the sky, and it's also referenced in spiritual text. So with that, we need to talk about this energy of Taurus, because that's where this eclipse is happening as a full moon. So what is Taurus energy? Well, we have to first understand that Taurus and Scorpio are opposite energies, because we can see here on the chart that we have the sun in Scorpio with the south node, and we have the moon in Taurus with the north node. So there's this opposition, this polarity, and this always exists as we go through an eclipse cycle in Taurus and Scorpio, which repeats itself about every 9 years. So what does that energy mean? Well, this eclipse season of Taurus and Scorpio began back in the spring of 2022, and it lasts about 18 months in a 3-round cycle. So 18 months divided by 3 is about 6 months apart each. So in April and May, we had our first round of eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio. Then we had a 6-month break through the summer, and now we are entering round number 2 of Taurus and Scorpio. We had a new moon in Scorpio 2 weeks ago, and now we're having a full moon in Taurus here and now. And then we're going to have another 6-month break into the spring of 2023, where we're going to have a third and final round of this eclipse energy. Now, this energy doesn't just end in the summer of 2023. It's going to play out, right? There's always got to be time to play it out. But this cycle of Scorpio and Taurus is a very financial access one. It's very much about releasing and letting go of things that no longer bring us joy or pleasure. I've talked so much about this in the 2022 astrological forecast video. I talked about this back in eclipse season in the spring. I brought it up in my What's in the Stars Saturday episodes. I brought it up in the new moon in Scorpio video 2 weeks ago. I also did an entire retrograde workshop on this 2 weeks ago at that new moon in Scorpio. If you are interested in purchasing that replay, it's only $20, and it's so important important to understand. In that workshop, I break down completely the energy of Scorpio, the energy of Taurus, what we're meant to be learning collectively and personally at this time. I give you specific dates. I help you look it up in your birth chart step by step through every single eclipse moon of this cycle. And I also, in that workshop, previewed our next upcoming cycle, which is happening in Aries and Libra. So it's only $20. Again, you'll find the purchase link in the description box below. But for the purpose of this video, understand that Scorpio is where the South Node is. That's where we are releasing and letting go and closing chapters of our life. Scorpio represents deep psychological trauma, fear, triggers, power, control, manipulation, secrets, betrayal, all this like under the surface kind of stuff, or let's say skeletons in the closet kind of stuff. So at that new moon 2 weeks ago, it was an eclipse. There were sudden jolting things. Remember, eclipses are fated events, things to get us back on track with our destiny, things that happen externally to us. And at that time, we were really starting this new chapter of processing and releasing and letting go of the things that don't serve us on a deep psychological level. Now we are stepping into Taurus energy at this full moon, which is opposite Scorpio, which is ruled by Venus. So it's all about the luxuries, the things in life that we love. Venus, what we love, our values, what we value, who we value, how we love people. It deals with money and finances, right? Things that we also love, resources and assets and luxuries and nice bags. It deals with our sensuality, right? So Scorpio is more of like the sex and the intimacy and the deep, deep, deep part of our intense emotions regarding love. And Taurus is more of like the easy breezy feelings that we have with love and intimacy. It's more the sensual, the go with the flow, what feels really good, what tastes good, what smells good, what I love on my skin. So now we're dealing more with like the surface level, what feels good in your life. And this being a full moon eclipse is we're needing to eclipse, we're needing to full moon release, let go of things in your life that do not align with bringing in income, bringing in money, acquiring more assets, releasing the things and letting go of stuff that doesn't bring you pleasure or sensuality. So for instance, it would be like you have this candle, you don't really like the way it smells, you feel bad getting rid of it because it costs so much money, but you just really don't ever light it because you don't enjoy it. This full moon is like, throw it away, get rid of it, let go. It's done. You're never gonna light it. Give it to someone else who might love it and go buy yourself something that you love, that you wanna indulge in, because that is going to make you happy. It's going to increase your vibration. It's going to attract things to you, which is gonna bring in more money, which is gonna bring in more assets, more resources, more things, more tangible goods. It's gonna increase your vitality, right? Because Taurus rules Mother Nature. Taurus rules alternative medicine. Taurus rules, the earth and again, resources, gas, fuel, water, all those things, which we can get more of only if we let go of what we don't actually love or like. So Scorpio is financial as in other people's money, deals with inheritances, taxes, your partner's assets, joint assets, money that comes to you unexpectedly, money in the stock market. Taurus is more personal money. It's money that is my income, my resources, my assets, what I acquire and how I acquire it, what I value, how many bags I have, what kind of car I drive, like my personal stuff. So that's the financial aspect of Scorpio and Taurus. The pleasure aspect we mentioned, Scorpio is sex, death, and intimacy. And the deep, deep, deep emotions tied around that, like betrayal and jealousy and obsession, like the deep parts of sex and intimacy. Taurus is more the pleasure, the luxury, what feels good, what smells good. It's Venus. It's just like sensual and yummy, right? So that's the energy opposition that we're experiencing. That's this eclipse cycle, and we're supposed to be stepping into Taurus, Venus, abundance, attraction, Mother Earth, Mother Nature, things that, making more money for ourselves, and then letting go of the trauma, triggers, fears, secrets, betrayals, like all the icky stuff, dealing with the Scorpio things. Okay, so I know that was a lot. There's so much more to go into with the Scorpio-Taurus eclipse cycle, but I just wanted to preview that so you have an understanding of how potent this full moon is. Full moon in Taurus happens every single year. But this year it's an eclipse. Not just an eclipse, it's a total eclipse. Not just a total eclipse, but also a blood moon eclipse. And not just a blood moon eclipse, but it's happening on top of Uranus this year in 2022, which is the planet of sudden jolting change, of liberation. So we're gonna get into that in just a moment. Next year, we're gonna have one final full moon in Taurus that will also be an eclipse. But after that, we go back to our normally regular cycle of just plain old full moon in Tauruses for another 9 years. So I want you to understand the full moon in Taurus energy, the basics of it. Full moon release, full moon letting go. What does that mean when it happens in Taurus? So I'm going to list here real quick just what Taurus represents energetically in the areas of our life that it rules over, because again, full moon release and let go, this is what we're focusing on finally letting go once and for all as a volatile eclipse, as Uranus is involved. So we really need to understand, because these things might be coming up for you. Remember, eclipses are external circumstances. So Taurus ruled by Venus. Venus is our life coach of love, of relationships, of money, of creativity, of enjoyment of life, the things that bring us joy. So entertainment and fun rules our sensuality, rules our love, who we love, what we love. It rules our value systems, how much energy and time and resources we want to spend on people, places, and things. It rules money in the sense of our income, our assets, our resources, how much we can acquire or attract, right? Venus attract to us. It also rules over Mother Nature, right? Mama Venus, Mama Love, Mama Gaia, Mama Earth. And so it deals with all the resources that Mother Nature can bring to us. So fuel and gas and oil and food, agriculture, all those things. And Taurus, being the bull, represents the financial system. So all the things that have to do with our money. So there are major things in this area of life that we are letting go of personally and society. So understand, every year, this full moon in Taurus will happen around this time of year, and this is what you're gonna focus on releasing and letting go, closing chapters in your life. So let me know in the comments below if this resonates, if any of these things are coming up in your life to kind of shift gears, close chapters, start new chapters, endings of sorts. That's the energy we're feeling at this time. But now let's talk about specifically in 2022, because this is a hot, potent energy. I'm going to pull up that chart again. You can see the sun, 16 degrees of Scorpio, lots and lots of friends around the sun right now. We have Mercury over here, we have Venus over here, and we have the South Node of Destiny over here. Directly across the chart where the moon is in Taurus, we have Uranus partnered up with the moon right there, along with the North Node of Destiny. So much energy in just these two zodiac signs at the time of this astrological event. Now, a few things to talk about, starting off with the moon, because this is a full moon. The moon is exalted in Taurus. The moon is our emotions. It represents our feminine aspects, and it loves to be in Taurus because Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus and the moon get along very well. The moon represents the feminine, our intuition, our nurture. Venus rules what we love, who we love, and also our feminine energies. So the moon is very, very happy here at this time. On the flip side, when we look at Venus over there in Scorpio, Venus is very unhappy. She, like I just mentioned, is the ruler of this full moon since she rules Taurus. Taurus is her home, and she's in Scorpio at the time of this full moon. What does that mean? She's in a foreign land. She's directly across the sky. She cannot get further away from home at this time, being in Scorpio, and that's what we call Venus being in her detriment. So this is as if you went to a foreign land, couldn't speak the language, don't understand the culture, you are in detriment. You can't get around, you have no idea how to order the thing that you want to eat, and you're just in a foreign land, foreign culture, very uncomfortable. That's Venus currently in Scorpio as the ruler of this full moon, adding to that volatile energy that we just discussed earlier. On top of that, it's an eclipse. So imagine going to a foreign land that you can't speak the language, you don't understand the culture, and a war breaks out. Because that's eclipse energy. It's very volatile, things flying everywhere, unexpected chaos. How would you feel in that other country? That's Venus right now. So she's trying her best, but we're not feeling the love right now. We're having a hard time attracting things. We're having a hard time stepping into our feminine. We're having a challenging time leading with our creativity and our abundance. And we're just feeling like destabilized at this time when it comes to the things I mentioned earlier that have to do with Taurus. Now, we also have to talk about the moon's partner in crime over here, and that is Uranus, also at 16 degrees. So sun at 16 degrees Scorpio, moon at 16 degrees of Taurus, Uranus smack dab in that energy, also at 16 degrees of Taurus. Now, Uranus as a life coach is sudden jolting change. He is the rebel, he's the revolutionary, he wants to move forward, he wants to liberate us, he wants to do what he wants to do. Uranus lives out of society's norms, out of the box thinking. He's very progressive. That's why he's the rebel and the revolutionary. So at the time of this full moon, this energy is potent. What we're letting go of feels liberating. It feels like we're taking the shackles off. We might be rebelling. We might really, really want to be rebelling about something we've needed to let go of for a very long time. And at this time, we're like, F it, I'm done. I'm done. Throw my hands up. It's sudden and unexpected to other people. But in my heart, in my mind, I've been thinking about this for a very long time. Probably 6 months to be exact, since that new moon in Taurus, back at the beginning of round 1 of this eclipse cycle in the spring. And now's the peak, now's the culmination, now's the like, I'm doing it. But you haven't spoke about it, you haven't mentioned it, and now it's sudden, it's jolting and unexpected to other people. Now this might be happening to you. Remember, eclipses are external circumstances happening to you. So you might be the one initiating the sudden jolting change in your life in the areas of Taurus that we talked about, or you might be having it happen to you. You might be on the receiving end as other people are rebelling, liberating themselves, taking the shackles out of their life and stepping into their next chapter. And you didn't see it coming, right? Eclipses are like, woo, what was that, right? So Uranus is helping us, but he steps in as a life coach when we can't do it ourselves. So it might be uncomfortable. You might be going kicking and screaming. You might be dragging your feet as external things are happening to you to guide you back on your path with your money, with your income, with your finances, with your jobs, with your assets, with your relationships, who you love, what you value, with your creativity, with some luxuries that you have in life that you've kind of taken for granted, resources like food, gas, fuel, and water. Like, these things might feel like they're shifting, being taken away from you, changing. And again, eclipse energy lasts for about a week before to a week after. So you might already be feeling this, or you might be starting to experience it. So just let it play out. Uranus is playing a big role in this. In addition to that, Uranus has been in a major fight with another one of our life coach planets, and that is Saturn. Last year in 2021, they fought 3 separate times in the sky, meaning they were in what we call a square. 90-degree angle, one planet here, Uranus, sudden jolting change, revolution, step out of society's norms, do it my way, into the future, innovative, progressive, move on. Saturn, tough love dad, likes tradition, likes structure, likes roles, likes to do it in a way it's always been done. Tried and true method is the best way. Uranus is like, no bro, there's better ways, we just gotta find them, right? They've been fighting. Now, at the time of this full moon, total lunar eclipse in Taurus, Uranus is at 16 degrees, Saturn is at 18 degrees. They are going through their final battle. 3 in 2021 and a bonus round right here, right now in 2022. They took a break. They said, you know what? I need to recharge my batteries. I need to get my game plan. Uranus went over here. Saturn went over here. They took a time out. They recharged and they're back for their final battle. And that's what we're experiencing right now in a specific area of our life, again, depending on your birth chart. But in society, we're feeling that, right? On one side, government, institutions, Saturn, tradition are wanting to hold the grounds. Do it the way we've always been done. It's tried and true and it works. It works, right? How many times the teachers say, your boss says, this is how we've always done it. And you're like, that is so outdated. That doesn't even make sense in 2022 anymore. So Uranus is fighting from the other side saying, let's liberate, let's change it up, let's blow it up, let's do it all different. And he's in Taurus. So we just talked about all the things that Taurus rules: money, financial systems, the stock market, rules Mother Nature, it rules resources, rules luxuries, things that you want to buy, it rules your sensuality, rules your feminine energy, your ability to like be nurturing and attraction marketing instead of knocking on every door and calling every person, right? Not forcing life, but flowing with life. That's the new way to step into the future, Uranus is saying. And Saturn's like, no, 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 no. We got to do it how it's always been done. So that's why you're really letting go at this time. And it might be really unexpected, but this force is moving on. Either you're going to go kicking and screaming, or you're going to go with peace in your heart and your soul. So I really call you to kind of look at that energy in your life. Now we can see Saturn is in Aquarius at 18 degrees. So in the sky, because Uranus is in a square with Saturn, that also means that Saturn is in a square with the sun, because the sun and the moon are opposite. So it's what we call in astrology a T-square. And this T-square that's happening between these three planets, the sun, the moon, and Saturn, are all happening in fixed zodiac signs. That's why I mentioned at the beginning of this video, if your rising sign is a fixed sign, Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, or Aquarius, you're going to be impacted the most at this full moon, because Saturn is in Aquarius, fixed sign, the sun is in Scorpio, fixed sign, and the moon is in Taurus, a fixed sign. What does this mean? Fixed energy means when something is done, something happens, it is fixed, it is permanent, it's set, it's strong, it's structured, it's going to last. So this change that you're making in your life, although it's sudden, you might go kicking and screaming, you don't like it, it's happening externally to you, it's going to create a permanence, a new beginning, something solid that you can start anew on. A really good foundation for the next chapter of your life. So it's not going to be rocky, it's not going to be unstable, it's going to work out for the long haul because Saturn is involved. Saturn is tough love dad. He teaches us lessons, he forces us to grow, he helps us mature by giving us obstacles, by giving us challenges. And him being involved at this full moon as an eclipse is like, Uranus is like, I'm going to blow it up. Eclipses are like destiny's knocking. It's unexpected. Venus can't help you. It's not going to feel good. It's going to be uncomfortable, but we got to do it. And Saturn's like, I'm here to teach the lesson, and I'm here to create the permanence and the structure and the foundation and the discipline and the commitment that you need to move on and let go. This eclipse cycle is going to help us let go once and for all. So that's kind of the energy that we're feeling at this time. I just want to bring up real quick a couple other life coaches in the sky at this time that are assisting and helping us at this full moon. We do have Jupiter back in Pisces. Jupiter is retrograde. He recently on the 28th of October went back into the zodiac sign of Pisces, his home sign where he loves to be. His roommate Neptune, who is also the co-ruler of Pisces, is home there. He's meeting back up with Neptune. As I mentioned, this happened back in April of 2022 when eclipse season started. So we're kind of revisiting this part of ourselves. Wherever Jupiter is in the sky, he expands. He brings opportunity, blessing, expansion, growth, positivity, optimism. And with him back home in Pisces is giving us a little bit of hope, a little bit of optimism, a little bit of belief. Jupiter rules our belief systems. That yes, this is happening, and yes, it sucks, but deep down, I believe. I am hoping that this is for the best, and that's going to really help us. So if you're feeling that, this is horrible, but I believe it's all going to work out, thank Jupiter for going back home into Pisces at the time of this full moon. And lastly, we got to talk about Mars retrograde. I have a whole separate video on this. You can go ahead and watch it after this video is posted, but Mars retrograde is challenging, very, very challenging. He is retrograding in the zodiac sign of Gemini. He just started his retrograde on the 30th. He will retrograde until January 12th. This is an energy you need to get used to. And what does this mean and why is this important? Mars is the ruler of Scorpio. So all the eclipses that we're having in Scorpio and Taurus, Taurus is ruled by Venus, Scorpio is ruled by Mars. South node in Scorpio, letting go, releasing Mars, the masculine, toxic masculine, moving towards North Node, Destiny, North Star in Taurus, ruled by Venus, stepping into our feminine, step into our flow, step into our abundance, our attraction, our sensuality, what brings us joy and pleasure, and all those things. So Mars being retrograde at the time of this eclipse means that we are supposed to slow down the masculine. What does that mean? Slow down the doing, decision-making, taking action, creating. Slow down. Mars wants to be in the left lane, gas pedal all the way down, rushing through life. Make decisions, do this, do that, masculine, masculine, masculine. Force, 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 create, create, create. But when he's retrograde, we got to slow it down. Vitality sinks, chi sinks, life force sinks. We just slow. In the zodiac sign of Gemini, ruling the mind, ruling the thoughts. So we are trying to slow down all the thoughts, all the to-dos, all the ideas, all the monkey mind, all the anxiety, all the things that we think we have to do all the freaking time that we really don't need to do. And we need to reprogram that, right? Retrogrades, redo, reanalyze, restructure, recommit, re-something. We're reprogramming our mind in a less masculine mindset and a more feminine mindset. So what does that mean? Feminine mindset is I'm going to attract. I'm going to show up and bring love and spread love. I'm going to lead by example. I'm not going to force. I'm going to be. And I'm going to fill my life with pleasure and joy and sensuality and increase my vibration. And when I increase my vibration, I attract more resources, Taurus, more money, Taurus. I attract more assets, people, places, things into my life. Instead of Mars thinking, writing a to-do list, forcing this, calling this many people, this. Gemini loves numbers. Gemini loves details. Don't we love a to-do list with 8 items on it? Or I got to call 5 people every day in my business to make it to the top. I got to make $10,000 a week to make it to the top. That's what we're reprogramming. Masculine reprogramming as Mars retrogrades. Because our vitality is sunk, because our chi is sunk, we don't feel so much energy. We got to slow it down. Get back to the basics. This is game plan time. Slow it down. Figure out what you need to do, what is worth your energy, what are your value systems? Full moon in Taurus, values, Taurus. What is your values? Do you truly value a nice Chanel bag and all this money that you've been chasing and running and making 5 phone calls a day to try and get? Or do you value the time with your family and Mother Nature? Either or. I mean, you can love a bag and value that and want it, but how can you get that more of a Venus flow and attraction and less of a force? And I think collectively with all this going on at the eclipse, we're all feeling like we don't want to be forced anymore by businesses, by marketers, by coaches, by people to purchase their products. We don't want to be coerced or forced or sold to or called 15 times a day. We would rather find a business partner, a coach, a product, a company that we align with based on our values, right? Not because they called us 10 times and reminded us to make a purchase. It's because we value. We find the value in their product. We align, right? They attracted us to them. That's what we need to be doing in our own life to attract the abundance towards us, is figure out your values, figure out how you want to align to people, and then people will match your energy and find you. And that's relationships, that is family, that is business, that is your home, that is everything about your life, friendships, all of it. So I think that about sums up everything I needed to say about this full moon. I'm going to leave it on that because that felt really good and very aligned to share right now. So that's all I want to say. Oh, I do want to bring this up really quick, just circle back, and it goes back to what I just mentioned. We can see in the chart, Mercury is in a conjunction with the sun. I forgot to mention this. I can't believe it. The moon is in alignment with Uranus and the sun is in alignment with Mercury. So Mercury, sun, cazimi. Means that Mercury is in the heart of the sun at the time of this eclipse. What does that mean? Well, Mercury actually rules Gemini where Mars is. So they're doing a flip-flop. Mars is in Gemini, but he rules Scorpio. And Mercury is in Scorpio, but he rules Gemini. So it just adds to the energy of what I just said, is that Mercury in the sun, in the heat and the heart of the sun is our core. It's what lights us up. It's what illuminates us. Mercury being our mind and our message, we're really trying to make sure that our core, our sun, aligns with the messages we're speaking out into the world, what we're sharing. Because if we align at our core with our words, our thoughts, and our actions, we can then be clear about who we are and how we're attracting people to us based on our core and who we are. So I think that adds in. I can't believe I forgot that. Okay, so that's all I have for you. I hope that made sense. I hope you enjoy the videos that I put out and how I explain this information. Please let me know in the comments below if any of that resonated with you. And with that, I'm gonna just leave you with 3 ritual ideas that you can do around the time of this full moon to maximize this energy. Typically, you can do a new moon ritual 3 days before to 3 days after a full or new moon, but because this is an eclipse, you get an entire week before or after. So the 3 suggestions I'm gonna give you aren't your traditional traditional new or full moon rituals, such as charging moon water, charging your crystals, manifesting, setting intentions, releasing, anything like that. Because me personally, I find that eclipse energy is too volatile to charge my crystals or my moon water, and it's destiny. Eclipses deal with north node of destiny and the south node of karma. They are fated events that happen to you, so you have less free will. So setting an intention for me is pointless. Manifesting at this time is pointless. I am meant, I believe, to just go with the flow, let life show me what I'm supposed to get back on track with. So that's me personally. So with that, 3 ritual ideas that you can do to maximize the energy of this full moon total lunar eclipse in the zodiac sign of Taurus. Number 1, because there is so much change and so much letting go or needing to do, I would do a ritual around something in your life that you are finally ready to let go of. And I would do a journal exercise. So grab a pen, grab your journal, write out 1, what it is you want to let go of and that you're ready to let go of. Number 2, why you're thankful that this thing was in your life, what it brought to you, what it did for you, what lesson it taught you, anything, a thank you, gratitude paragraph on having this thing in your life, whether that was a person, a place, an object, a belief system, whatever. It doesn't have to be tangible. It could be like a school that you went to or a person in your past. Like, it doesn't even need to physically be in your reality. It can even be just a thought that you had. Maybe it was an idea that you wanted to create in your business and you're letting go of that idea because you've come up with a better idea. Whatever you need to do, write it out, thank the universe for giving that to you and why you're thankful for it. And then I would write a paragraph on letting go. See you later, whatever, just something that calls to your heart on letting it go. And then lastly, I would call in what you would like to replace it with. I think that really helps us to let go when we kind of have an idea. Now keep this broad, because remember, eclipses are going to put you on track. It's going to give you the specifics later, but keep it broad. So I'm going to be letting go of clothes that don't serve me this week. I'm having a garage sale next Sunday. Some of these clothes I've had since I was 14, 15 years old. Some of them I got on my travels in Europe and on vacation, and I'm ready to let them go. And so my broad paragraph would be, I am calling in clothes that fit me better, that attract business partners to me, that increase my reputation, whatever. I'm not gonna say I want like a black Chanel dress with Versace shoes. Like, I'm not gonna get that specific. I'm just gonna say clothes that fit me, that attract people to me, and that increase my respect and reputation in my career. So if that helps you, go ahead and do that as well. The second ritual I would do around the time of this full moon, because it's ruled by Venus and Venus is in her detriment, so she's very challenged at this time, is I would throw away anything you don't value. Let's help Life Coach Venus teach us a lesson when she can't do it herself. Get rid of anything you don't value. Like I mentioned earlier about the candle, if you have things in your home that do not look beautiful, smell beautiful, taste beautiful, make you feel beautiful, don't bring joy and beauty into your life, let it go. Let it go. How many times do we say, oh, I'm gonna get rid of these old towels when they're stained, or I'm gonna let go of these towels when, they don't work anymore. Get rid of them now. Get rid of them now and go get some luxurious, beautiful towels. It's gonna be Black Friday, so go through your house and clear space for the new, of anything that doesn't bring you joy, that doesn't make you feel gorgeous. And the third and final thing I would do around the time of this full moon, because it's an eclipse, is I would rest. I would literally rest. We have Mars in retrograde, our vitality is sunk, our chi is sunk, and I don't mean rest as in like self-care and draw yourself a bath and go get a massage. I mean like legit rest. Like, do nothing. Go sit outside and stare at the clouds for an hour. I mean, just do nothing. It doesn't mean listen to a podcast, watch TV, overstimulate the mind, learn new things. No, rest, chill, sit on your bottom, watch your kids play, listen to some light music or meditation, stare at the trees and the sun and the clouds, like rest in the best way you possibly can, okay? So with that, I'm just gonna give you some final announcements. Like I mentioned, the 2023 Retrograde Journal will be in stock in the next few weeks. You can pre-order it at the link below. Also with that, birth chart readings are open again. If you've never had a birth chart reading, we can start with that. And I'm also doing 2023 astro forecast readings so we can look at the year ahead, best times to do things, best times to make different decisions, the energy and lessons you're meant to be learning at this time, and so much more. For more astrology content, head over to TikTok at The Relational Astrologer. And for anything Holistic Soul Sisters, our online shop, our online courses, and Wellness Wednesday, What's in the Stars Saturday, and Favorite 5 Friday, you can find it at holistic.soul.sisters on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for being a part of my community, for watching my videos. I'm so honored and grateful to have you here and to keep growing this channel and to serve you and do birth chart readings. So please like and subscribe and check out the video on the Mars retrograde to understand that energy that's going to be lasting us all the way into March. All right, everyone, go watch that eclipse that's happening on Tuesday, November 8th in the morning. Happy full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus, and I will catch you in the next video.